Wonderboy says that he wasn't paid for showing up. Is that something new in the contracts where like you don't have to make weight and get your show money? Or he also said that he didn't talk to you yet. So
Right. So how that works is guys don't just get paid to not fight. It's not how that works. Guys have been paid. We've taken care of guys. Hey, listen, if you come in and you're making short money, we take care of you. You come in and you don't fight. First of all, you decided not to fight. The guy was 3 pounds overweight, whatever it was. You get a piece of his purse if you take the fight. But if you decide you don't want to take the fight, we also offered him another fight. You know, there's a much bigger story behind the scenes. And no, you don't just show up and say, yeah, I'm not going to fight. I want $250,000. Not the way it works. It hasn't worked that way for anybody. So what we do is we try to get you another fight. We try to turn you around quickly. If you don't turn around quickly, then we try to figure out, well, what did it cost for your camp?
Wonderboy said that
We'll reimburse you. You know, there's a lot of different ways that this gets worked out. You don't just go, yeah, this guy's 3 pounds over, I'm not going to fight, and no, I won't take another fight 2 weeks later and pay me my show money. Not how it works. You don't fight, you don't get paid necessarily in the contract, but we always make sure that we take care of everybody, and, you know, we're working it out with Wonderboy right now. It's all being worked out behind the scenes, and this should all be worked out by Saturday.
Hello, fellas and fellas. So Dana White, legally you are right. I will say legally you do not have to pay him, but I find it so hard to believe that you're not going to. It's still early. As you said in that video, you will find a way to come together to make everything all right, probably-ish. But anything short of the full purse bothers me. I think it's something that should be done. Cutting weight is hard. Fighting is easy. Fighting is the easiest thing you do all year. Cutting weight is hard. I've always joked, I'll fight for free, but you're going to pay me to cut weight. And I mean it. It's like fighting is, I'll do that for nothing. And I have many times. But cutting weight, that's something I don't want to do if I don't have to, because it kills you. You get closer to death every time you do it. Stephen Thompson cut weight. Pereira did not. Pereira missed weight by 3 pounds. For those of you saying, oh, it's just 3 pounds. 3 pounds is equivalent of 9 pounds extra the day of. So when you're cutting weight, you're losing water, you're losing glycogen, you're losing glucose. Glycogen by itself, it holds 3 times as much as it weighs. So if you have a pound of it, you can gain an additional 2 pounds. He still has that pound in him. He will be far bigger the next day because he didn't have to cut weight. So I've also admitted many times I would have fought. I would have said, sure, 3 pounds, whatever. It would have been the wrong decision. I'm in admiration of Wonderboy for being able to walk away. Now, I'm sure he thought that he would get taken care of. I'm sure he thought, well, didn't fight him, I'm going to get something. Maybe you don't get your full show money. And Dana said, we'll try and help take care of his camp costs. But it's more, what about the physical cost? A camp is hard on a guy. You diet for 8 weeks, you get beat up, you get hit. I mean, it takes a toll on your quality of life, not only for the 8-week period, but for your future in the industry as well. It's a hard thing to do to be a fighter. So you may be able to help pay his coaches and pay his gas bills to and from the gym and pay some of his food intake. But what about the limp he's going to have the rest of his life? What about the memory loss he's going to have from getting clocked? Although he doesn't get hit all that much. Anyways, it's not fair to say he didn't fight. He chose not to fight. He showed up. The contract says that he was supposed to fight and you only get paid if you fight. He showed up to fight on weight professionally. He did not sign a contract saying, I'll fight this guy if he's up 3 pounds. He did not sign a contract saying, I'll fight this other guy on 2 days' notice. He signed a contract saying, I will fight, I will make it great, and I will fight that guy at that weight. Now, I understand that you say, well, he would have gotten 30% of his purse. We don't know what Pereira makes. We don't. Probably not all that much. I mean, in all likelihood, he probably gets paid less than I did my last fight in the UFC. Just because he hasn't been in the UFC for that long. He's probably on his second or maybe third contract. I think I had 8 or 9 contracts while I was in the UFC. So 30% of 70 grand is not, it's not enough to risk a loss. You are fighting for money, but you're fighting for a career. You're fighting for what comes next. And giving up 3 pounds, which could very easily be the equivalent of over 9 pounds come fight day. It's the smart thing to do not to accept that fight. Plus, if you look at statistically, people that miss weight, I think it's like 90% of people who miss weight end up winning that next fight. I was unaware that if you make weight and your opponent misses weight and you choose not to fight, that you don't get your show money. I had always assumed you had. The UFC took care of me once. We were fighting in Manila. I was fighting Alex Nicholson, and the whole card got canceled. The UFC pulled out of Manila and said, we're not doing it. We're not fighting there because Manila is crazy. And I said, oh. They gave me 10 grand. That helped pay for camp. And I was early in my UFC career, so it more or less paid for camp. So like, oh, thank goodness. And then they rebooked me for like a month later against the same guy. It's like, all right, I'll take it. It was a big win for me. When COVID happened, they said, don't worry, we'll take care of you. We'll make sure something works out for you. And then a week passed, and guys, I need something because I spent money on this camp. I was going to beat Khalil Roundtree. And they said, don't worry, we got something working out. We'll figure it out. And then the Tahi Palace in California was offered. And I said, okay, I'll take it. And then they said, all right, it's off. I said, okay, well, can I have something for camp? So don't worry, we'll take care of you. It was probably 3 weeks of me not knowing if I was going to get paid before they said, okay, we got Ryan Spann for you in Jacksonville in 2 weeks. Okay, I'll take it. Sure, sounds great. Let's do it. I need the payday. Now, I've always been an advocate for how much the UFC pays. They've always been very generous to me. They're very generous to everyone they deal with. And I understand Wonderboy Thompson probably makes more in one fight than I ever did with the UFC total. So maybe they don't pay him his show money. But I think they should pay him something. Legally, they obviously do not have to. But Wonderboy has been a game competitor for a long time. He made the correct decision in not fighting. And I think it's wrong for the UFC to not step up and pay him. I posted something similar to this on my TikTok and my Instagram. And people are saying, oh, read the contract. The contract says, then you do what the contract says. I get it. Legally, fine, don't pay him. Just morally, I being the fighter in the position of weight cutting and going through camp and doing everything that's needed to have been done to get to the position where I made weight, it's hard. It is the job in itself. The fight's easy. And I know I'm not getting paid to train. I'm getting paid to fight. But there should be some thought of what the future for Smile and Sam, what the future for Wonderboy is. Camps are hard. And the UFC, by not paying somebody who has made weight, who showed up game to fight, and then more so saying, well, he chose not to fight. That's really the part I have the biggest problem with, is Dana saying, well, he chose not to fight. He's like, what are my options? Fight a guy who's going to be way bigger, way healthier than I could be tomorrow, or fight some other guy I've not trained for? That's the part that really bothers me, is Dana trying to put it back. And I'm a big fan of Dana. He and I will have disagreements on stuff, but not most of the time I'm in nothing but awe and respect for him. I named my last kid after him. Well, middle name anyways. So I'm a big fan of Dana White, but I don't like this. I think the fighter did what he was supposed to do. He showed up, he was game, and now he's not getting paid for his hard work. Everything but the actual performance. I hope the UFC steps up and does something for him, more than just giving him a fight in 2 weeks or a fight in 3 weeks, because weight cuts are hard. That's the other thing. So we'll schedule him again. You're going to make him cut weight again. Oh my goodness, you're going to make him cut weight again. That is terrible. Oh, it's such a pain in the butt. Okay, you cut weight, the next week you eat like garbage. You just eat. It's like, oh, give me food. I haven't had flavor in months. And now Wonderboy has to not do that. He has to maintain his weight, train another 3 or 4 weeks until he gets to fight Usman. It's not fair. He should be rewarded for what he did already, even though it wasn't everything that was needed to have been done. That's my thought. Tell me in the comments if you agree with me. Tell me if you're with me, against me. Let me know what I'm not thinking of. Because I understand Wonderboy's making a lot of money. And the UFC probably could. It'd probably be bad for the UFC to pay Wonderboy, I don't know, what he's $200,000 or whatever he's fighting for. It'd probably be a bad idea, bad for the UFC to just pay him $200,000. But give him $50,000. Give him something that had made it at least a little worth it. It may not be the payday he was relying or counting on, but it was the payday he was expecting. So anyways, tell me in the comments. Thank you all for watching. Love you guys. Tell me if I'm right or wrong, and we'll talk to you soon.